I guess since the start of the pandemic, like how has teaching, right? Like how has teaching changed for you?
Oh my gosh, it changed. Ooh, it changed. It changed because, we were in person and all of a sudden it was like, okay, we might close. So prepare a Google Classroom, which was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I could post on Instagram, but I don't know how to do this. So we went ahead, we got all of that prepared. But the thing about it was that when we originally closed, no one really had their personal devices. I'm at a school in College Park. Yeah. So, some of my parents were working it out though. They were doing assignments on their phones and all kind of things like that. And we would do one live session per day just to try to, see them, be able to see them and connect with them. And then, of course, that was if they had a device. Yeah. And some of them would log in whenever they could. So you would, hear your phone dinging all times of night while they're turning in their assignments and things like that. So it just went from that. And then it just, pedal to the metal for the next year because we started virtually, in which case at that point now recording your lessons and posting them to, what we ended up doing was recording them and posting them to YouTube. Okay. And then sending the YouTube link because everyone had YouTube on their phones as far as the students and everything who didn't have devices. So they were able to still look at the lesson and, get the content and everything and then turn in the assignments. So, but the next school year, they didn't want that. They wanted full-fledged. So we went from posting assignments and videos to now we're live all day. So it was Zoom literally all day. Yeah. Which was a whole nother. A whole nother set of things to learn. And we started on Google Meets and then we were able to get onto Zoom later, which had more features and everything for us to learn. Yeah. I teach first grade, so you can imagine what it was like. Baby, can you share your screen? Share your screen. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was like, oh my gosh. And then from there, we were by the end of the school year able to kind of come in and do an A/B model, in which case now I have students that are live and online at the same time, which is a whole nother ball of wax. Yeah. So it has changed greatly. And the same goes for now because I'm live also and in person. And then I also have to have a whole nother platform that I'm teaching them to use, because they would like us for safety reasons to stay as paperless as we can. So it is very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it almost sounds like double duty.
Right. It is.
Yeah. Especially trying to teach in person and then also online.
Right.
So are you still having to do the recordings?
No. So now we no longer record the lessons because they're expected for everyone to log in. Especially at our school, we had one-to-one devices. So everyone had a device and was able to log in as long as they had, internet, and then our district also gave out hotspots. Okay. But so that's where we were. But at that point it was half. Right now I have 2 virtual students. Yeah. And then the rest of us are in person.
Okay. Well, that's not as interesting as it was before. So.
Right. Well, it's still interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I said. It's not as interesting.
Right. Not as bad, but it's still like, oh, okay.
So let's talk about barriers, though. Like, I guess that goes into like some of the barriers that you have to face. I guess on a day-to-day basis. Like, what do those new barriers look like for? So COVID learning. Right.
COVID learning. Our biggest barrier obviously is COVID.
Of course.
Because, anytime there's a case, we have to send out a letter as far as, from our principal and everything like that. And then, people kind of get a little scared and, they might miss a few days or decide to go virtual or something like that. But honestly, the biggest barrier for me is twofold. Number one is the responsibility of keeping other people's children safe. So it's not that I'm really concerned for myself catching COVID. It's more of, I promised to keep these children safe. So how do I do that and continue teaching and not make them feel like I have them wrapped in bubble wrap? Because, I want to get you home the same way you came. I don't want you to, I don't want you to, pick up something in the room or anything like that. So that's the biggest barrier for me, is just making sure that, and that's my number one priority, is making sure that everyone's student, because this is somebody's everything. Each and every one of them is somebody's everything. So that's my biggest barrier, is making sure that I'm balancing cleaning and teaching. And then our next one, right, because I want them to be safe. So, and then our next barrier is, children have been online for almost 2 years. So my class in particular, they left in pre-K. So they haven't been in a building. So now we're teaching them how to acclimate to the large group setting. We're teaching them how to hold pencils and how to write and form letters and numbers and things like that, because we've been typing. And, some of mine are slick. They know to use Google Voice.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, oh my gosh, how are they in the chat box with that?
Yeah.
Oh, Google Voice.
Yeah, there you go.
You're right. So they've been, not actually physically writing anything. They've been typing. And so it's, it's kind of like talking to somebody in person and then putting in a LOL.
Yeah.
Because you're used to typing all the time. So those are kind of our biggest barriers right now. But we're about a month and a half in, and it's going way better. Just, with them being around each other and getting used to not being the only one. Because, they were at home. So it was like, okay, if I need something, I just get up and get a snack, or I just walk up and say, hey, I needed XYZ. So just getting them back used to being in the classroom environment has been one barrier that we're overcoming.
Yeah. But I'm guessing as long as you have some help, it's okay, right?
Yeah. I teach first grade. There's
okay.
I'm the help.
The only reason why I say that is because some schools, they have those class helpers, something like that.
Right, yeah. So usually they have paraprofessionals for pre-K and kindergarten. First grade, it's you. So I'm the teacher, the paraprofessional.
Oh wow!
It's me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you come home exhausted.
Right. Yes, sir. Yeah. Trying to get a nap. I've actually got a second cup of coffee right to my left.
Oh, wow. So with all that going on, though, what are some things that you think that could possibly improve conditions? Because like I said, you saying all the stuff that you have to kind of experience on a day-to-day basis, it sounds like a lot. Like it does. Like it sounds like
it is.
It sounds like it's a task for 3 people.
Right.
One person.
Right.
So
well, to improve conditions, that paraprofessional you talked about was amazing. If I could have 2 more of me in my room, that would be awesome. So I think that to improve conditions, basically a lot of help, a little more help as far as another person with us, or even if they're floating, would be nice. And then I think that even without the help, maybe more break, where you just can come and kind of take a breather and come back.
Yeah.
So, to me, that would be the best way to improve conditions, because they definitely need to be in the building with.
Yeah, but even I guess with the COVID constraints and stuff like that, has that shifted for schools to have additional people come in, or is it different?
Well, originally we were on that AB model. so that you would have half of your students one day, half the next day, so that you would be able to have a little more social distancing. Right now, I'm at a full roster. And then, but as cases picked up now, more virtual options have been available.
Okay.
So, and that's where, if they're not comfortable with those numbers, because like, for instance, all of my students have plexiglass up on their desks and things like that, but it's still, there are quite a few of us in there.
Yeah.
So, social distancing is to the best of our ability.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess as a parent, like, what's the advice for parents, right? Like, can parents do anything to kind of improve conditions, or just like?
You know what? I think for advice for parents would be just reiterating the importance of keeping your mask on.
Okay.
And then that's pretty much it. But for the most part, they're pretty good at it, considering they're 6 and 7.
Yeah.
So that would be the only thing, and just be patient, because we like to think that it was over, but there's still like a little underlying bit of stress and anxiety that comes with being in the building, especially because they're overhearing their parents' conversations and all kind of things like that. So just kind of being in tune with your child and talking to them about what's going on, how are they feeling, and checking in with them, I think would be the biggest thing that a parent could do to help their child with that transition back to the classroom. But most of them have been so excited to come back to school that I don't feel like it really matters. I've had a couple that, they're kind of really conscious of it, and then the rest are just like, they're pedal to the metal, they're ready. They stay ready.
Yeah.
They're ready for action. They are ready for action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what's that, I guess, great advice you would give new teachers coming into the teaching game during the pandemic?
During the pandemic, I would say I don't know, that might not be real good advice. Keep a drawer of candy, and I'm trying to do my best. I'm trying to do my best with this candy, but keep a drawer of candy.
Okay.
Know your limits.
Okay.
And then advocate for yourself. And then if all else fails, take a break.
Yeah.
It's tough for them also.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough for the kids too, because they're building up their stamina. We were online all day, but we had breaks where we stopped and stepped away from the computer and things like that. So I think the main thing is, and then realizing that, they want it all, but really it's impossible. You can have, like Michelle Obama says, you can have it all. You just might not get it all at the same time.
Yeah.
So keep in mind that, they're going to keep asking for things, but you just may not be able to do it all at the same time.
Yeah.
Pace yourself.
Pace yourself, okay.
Yeah, because it's going to be there in the morning.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, I get it. I would say that, okay. Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right, because a lot of times, we continue, especially as educators, we continue to take on more and more tasks, and it can really start bleeding over, because you'll start thinking, I need my seed chart, I need this, I need that, I need this lessons, I need this, I gotta finish my lesson plans, and I don't know, I always eat the biggest frog first. So whatever you're gonna ask me for, I'm gonna do that one first, and then go from there. And then sometimes, I've just got to make the hard choices, like this was gonna be late, or if it's not anything detrimental, where now I'm getting that unemployment, but it's long as nothing like that. But some things, sometimes less is more, because we can get on Pinterest and teachers pay teachers and get to researching and doing all kind of things. And before you know it, you're too exhausted to even teach the lesson. So that's why I say pace yourself, because there's just so much that you could be doing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, last one. Last one. Real important. I forgot it.
You got.
Don't compare yourself to the other teacher.
Okay.
Because that's where it gets rough too. When you walk in and you see the one with that Pinterest broom and and her copy's laid out for the next 3 weeks or whatever. Never mind that I am that teacher, but please, don't compare yourself to that one, because for me, that is what minimizes chaos. Whereas you may have another thing that is part of you that minimizes your chaos. So it gets a little dangerous, in my opinion, just to look at another educator and think, oh my gosh, I'm not even doing enough because I'm not doing what Miss So-and-so is doing or Mr. So-and-so is doing. Just do you, but don't compare yourself. Emulate what you like, but be sure to be you.
Yeah. Okay. So since I guess the pandemic has started, have any new benefits arose for teachers? Like some time off, some incentives of any kind, some anything?
So last year we received a bonus.
Okay.
And so we did get that bonus. My district offers free mental health appointments. So if you need to speak with a therapist or a counselor, you can make an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I think I know that they have free COVID testing. And of course you can get the vaccine for free, and they'll offer clinics and stuff like that. I'm not really sure. Oh yeah, and then free employee assistance. Like if you have if your spouse lost their job or something like that, they have an employee assistance program, but that's what I remember seeing.
Okay.
Unless more is coming kind of down the pipeline. I know that my district also approved a raise for us, so that would be nice also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because you got a job that's very hard job. It really is.
It is.
It is, especially being I guess during this time of COVID, and then having to do split duty.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's a lot to do.
It is. It is
in a short time.
Right. And I did not say teach. I didn't even get to that yet, so we still have to teach.
That's what I'm saying. Like
teaching.
Yeah, because I guess the time frame for smaller kids is a lot shorter than it is for the older kids.
Mm-hmm. Their attention span, you probably get about 6 to 8 minutes for that age group, and then you've got to change tasks or redirect them and give a break. So we do a lot of brain breaks. Once they're getting kind of antsy, stop and do a dance video and bring it back. Stuff like that. Because they look. It's got to be short as a YouTube or a TikTok. It can't be longer than a TikTok.
TikTok is like 3 minutes now.
Yeah, it's you got that 3 to. I always tell my students, and it's so funny because they actually always finish my sentence. I'll say 6 minutes, and then somebody will say, "And you're on." I got 6 minutes. That's it.
Yeah.
But and then we move on, and so repetition.
Yeah.
Is what we get.
Oh wow. The last question, right? Like, what's the best part, the greatest thing about being a teacher?
If it were not for COVID, the hugs. The hugs. Oh my gosh, they're so amazing. Those hugs, the little, and even in a pandemic, it's like I don't have the heart to say, and y'all don't blast me in the comments, but I don't have the heart to reject a child that wants a hug. I don't ask for them, but in my line of work, and even in my district and where our school is situated, you know, they need it. Like it's a survival hug. It's not, you know, just, hey, how you doing? Hug. It's I needed this. It's if you spoke to them, they would tell you, oh, I was used to X amount of hugs a day before COVID, and then I couldn't hug her at all, or my teacher. So the hugs, number one, and then being able to be a positive influence in somebody else's life is like nothing else. This is my third career, so you know, I'm on my third career, and although, you know, those were all service-based as well, this one, it's different because you're actually impacting this person's life and kind of helping to mold who they'll be in the future. So that is the most or the best part of being a teacher.
That sounds like the most rewarding part. Like,
It is. So it's a tie between those hugs and being influential. It's because even those are great because you could just tell. And really, I guess the influence kind of impacts that hug that you're getting.
Yeah.
Some of them, you know, they get a little stank. So, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, teaching in general, you have to be it takes a special type of person to be a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Like it does.
It does.
Not everybody can be a teacher because of what it requires.
Right.
And like I said, the people that are teachers are amazing people because of the fact that you have all these little minds, all these little lives that you influence on a daily basis. And to put that much positivity out there to such small minds is amazing.
I thank you. I appreciate those comments. I appreciate you.
Yeah. So definitely, thank you for what you do.
Oh, you're welcome. You guys are welcome.
Like I said, that job is a handful in itself. That how teachers do it overall and make it seem effortless.
Right.
Is a testament, right? It's a testament to who you guys are. So.
Yes, it is because I wasn't this. Like I said, I've only been teaching. This is my 7th year. Mm-hmm. So when my kids were small, I would help in the classroom and just think, how how are you doing this? Like, oh my goodness, yes. So yeah, it's way more. And then they were just going from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. And, you know, I'm over there with a hot glue gun talking about whatever with the other moms that are helping. Yeah. And she hasn't sat down. She hasn't stopped. And I was just like, wow. And then now that I'm in it, I didn't even realize that all of this went into, you know, what we saw just that one day. Like we weren't even there all day. So it is quite a task, but definitely worth it. Definitely worth it.
I think it definitely is because, like I said, even knowing, I guess at that point when you were, helping with your kid, everything that particular teacher was doing, it made you want to navigate that way too. And you joined the club too.
Right, I know, and I did too. You know, I became a teacher by chance, and here I am, like
years later,
right? Like I never set out to be a teacher. Like it's the wildest thing. I was enrolling my son into a private school. We moved here from San Diego, and you know, we're sitting in the family interview to enroll him in school, and then she asked us about our education, and I told her, and she was like, "Oh, really? I have a teaching job opening for the fall." And I was just like, "Oh, that wasn't why I got that degree, but okay." And I went on the interview thinking I was interviewing for the paraprofessional position, and then when they called me to say, "Okay, when I walked in the interview, she said, "Oh yes, you're interviewing for the teaching position. Our para position has already been filled." And I was just like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
I thought I was the paraprofessional.
Yeah.
And then here I am 7 years later, like still going. So yeah, it's wild.
It's meant to be.
I guess so.
I mean, seriously.
Like, well, I guess so.
Might as well just take it at this point.
Just take it and leave it. The rest of these years, I guess.
Hey, like I said, as you were saying, I guess throughout this whole conversation, it's a very rewarding field in a lot of different ways. And like I said, teachers in itself make the job seem effort.
Right.
It does. But again, that's a true testament of who you guys are. Thank you for allowing me to have this conversation with you.
Right. Well, thank you for choosing me. I appreciate it.
So yeah, but no problem.
All right.